Welcome to Season 2 of the Lipoedema podcast, hosted by Shell and Tiana. Our aim is to make noise around lipedema and educate as many people as we can about this disease.
Our guest list contains professionals who work in the field and women who live with lipedema. Thank you for joining us. Madi Macnish is a 27-year-old from a small rural country town in the southwest of WA. A mum to 3 kids, aged 8, 5 and 2 years old, she owns her own beauty salon called Wild Rose Beauty Boutique. Madi was first thought to have stage 2 lipedema a couple of years ago. It was diagnosed at stage 3 last year.
Hi and welcome to the Lipoedema podcast. We are your hosts, Shell
and Tiana, and today we are joined by our special guest, Madi Macnish. Hello,
Hi.
Madi. Welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you.
Oh, sorry, I just cut you off, Tiana, as per usual. Madi, we're going to get straight into it. How did you come to learn about lipedema?
Well, it was actually a doctor did suggest it to me going about 2 years ago. And she said to me, she goes, I think you might have lipedema. And automatically I thought, lymphedema, getting confused between the two. And I was like, okay, sat on it for about a year and then did some research once I saw it pop up on social media. And then, went and saw a practitioner who diagnosed me with lipedema. And
And had you gone to the doctor about your legs? Like, is that why you were seeing the doctor who suggested it?
Yeah. So ever since I was a young girl, I always had bigger legs and bigger arms. And it was, just really horrible growing up. You'd lose a lot of weight, but your arms and legs would never change, no matter what you did. When the doctors stuck you on Duramine and everything else, because, it's just what, it's just fat. You'll lose it. And I never did. I lost everywhere else but my legs and arms. And, and that's why I went and saw them and, but we're getting there.
Oh, that is so good, because so many times we go to the doctors and they just have no idea what's wrong with us. They misdiagnose continually. And to only be, did we say you were 27 years old, and to be getting this, like, that just warms my heart that this is happening, that we're getting the right diagnosis at a young age. Oh, that is amazing. So good. So had you, like you were saying about growing up and dieting, so you had been searching for answers before this, or was this the first time you'd gone, right, I just need to find out about why I'm disproportionate and why my body is this way?
Yeah, it was pretty much, I always knew at the back of my head something was different. I always had an inkling, especially when I'd lose everywhere else but there. And and the nodules under the skin and the bruising, the pain, like touch, even the kids, if they jumped on my legs, it was just, it's horrific, and I'm like, surely there's something else going on than what meets the eye. Which there was.
Bang on. And I think we know that something's not right. We may not be able to put our finger on it, but we know that, hey, this isn't typical. This isn't,
Yeah, for sure.
And do you believe, like, what age do you believe you were when it started to develop?
So I've noticed in a lot of school photos, even going from primary years, I was always the bigger built girl. Always. But I think it really escalated once I hit puberty, which was about, I was 10, 11 when I first went through puberty. And from there, it just went like wildfire. Started in my legs, and then, got to my early teens, and I noticed it in my arms. And, and it's just gotten worse and worse. And then the pregnancies, which make it worse again. And it just keeps going. Feels like a never-ending thing. Yeah.
Yeah, we are
gonna ask
constantly fighting
specifically-
against it.
Yeah, I was going to ask specifically about your pregnancies because you have a few kids. So talk to us about
Yeah.
how that progression happened, like first pregnancy, second pregnancy, etc.
Yeah, so when I had my first son, I fell pregnant at 18, so I was 19 when I had him. And I was probably at my lowest weight then, and I didn't notice it overly too much because I had other health issues I was dealing with. But after about a year after I had him, I noticed there was more swelling. And then when I had my second son, I blew up quite badly, especially in my lower legs to the point where I got stretch marks on my ankles. And, the doctors are like, preeclampsia, which it ended up being quite mild preeclampsia towards the end. But his pregnancy wasn't overly too hard, the two first ones. But my third pregnancy with my daughter was horrific on my body. Very, very horrific. To the point where my legs would swell up so much the skin just split and then they wouldn't heal. So, yeah, I ended up having to birth her over 2 hours away because I was that sick. And a lot of it had to do with the swelling in my legs and my arms, my whole body. And even when we had her, because she was cesarean, and the swelling had gotten to her, so they told us to prepare ourselves for no crying or anything, but luckily she came out screaming. And she still does now. But yeah, since then her pregnancy has taken a toll extremely on my body. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I can imagine.
It's just
Is
through
that
the roof.
lymphedema as well?
No, just lipedema apparently so far.
Wow.
Yeah, but I do have family members that do have lymphedema as well, and especially my grandparents and my great-grandparents. Now looking back, like, on photos, they definitely had lipedema back in the day, but they weren't around when I was young, so I never got to see it. But from family members and my mum, they were like, okay, yes, they did have lipedema as well.
Yeah, so you're noticing a hereditary pattern there, which is not uncommon for a lot of our warriors, actually.
Yeah.
And so when you first learnt about yourself having lipedema a few years ago, did you implement any strategies to help manage, and how has that progressed throughout the past few years?
So a lot of like low carb, trying to eat low carb, which after I had my first son, I went strict keto, and I lost a lot in the lipedema sense. But I'm struggling to do it now, especially with 3 kids, a business. It's hard. It's hard. But I'm finding I do aqua aerobics, and that helps a lot. And I also walk every single day, so that's also helping. And massage and compression is pretty much where I'm at the moment. But yeah, I'd love to get one of those, the inflatable body pump machines, are they? I can't think what they're called at the top of my head. Yeah, I'd love to invest in one of those one day. I did hire one out and it was excellent. Excellent.
Yeah, the compression pumps are amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's on my bucket list to buy.
Well, I think what's amazing about it is it gives you access to do something every day. And so, like, Shell and I have talked about this in so many episodes, the things that you can do consistently are the things that make the most difference. So getting an MLD massage once a month, that's great. But wearing your compression every day makes a massive difference.
Yes,
going in the lymphopress or your compression garment, anything that you can do consistently makes the biggest difference.
Yeah, for sure.
And so how is your pain going now? Because you've obviously had Your last birth was quite a traumatic occasion, and we know that sometimes trauma sort of exacerbates the symptoms of lipedema.
Yes.
So how is your pain, and how are you feeling with your lipedema now?
So I've got a huge love-hate relationship with it. So my legs I've kind of come to terms with, but my arms not so much. My arms have gotten quite extremely bad since having her, and the pain in the arms I never experienced as bad prior to her, if that makes sense. Where now, if the kids jump into my arms or sleep on my arm or anything like that, it leaves bruises and is sore, which I never really had that before. It just, might have hurt a little bit now and then, but not to the extreme where it's pretty much up with my legs now, with the pain with my legs. So I can't get the kids to stand on my legs, especially hard with toddlers because, they like to jump on you and use you like a trampoline. But, I've had to tell her she can't do that anymore. It's too sore for Mum. Save that for Dad. But, it's gotten quite bad. But the compression is helping. The compression is helping a lot, I find.
Are you using compression on your arms as well as your legs?
I have ordered some. They haven't arrived yet. So I've ordered them about a couple of weeks ago. So I'm hoping they'll be here sooner rather than later.
Yeah, me too. I'm hoping that for you as well. So let's talk about what your favourite conservative management strategy is, but also what you find is the best in terms of helping your symptoms. So you might not enjoy doing something, but you're finding it's making a huge difference. But what might you actually enjoy?
Yeah. So I really enjoy the walking whilst wearing compression. I just find that, I don't know, I haven't been walking in a couple of weeks because I've been getting my little salon up and running. And my knees are sore, my legs are sore. And I know it's my body telling me, you need to move. You need to move. So I really need to make that a priority. Yeah. Mostly walking. I mean, I probably should be doing low carb, keto, because I know that really does manage it. But like I said, it is really hard, especially if you have to cook 2 separate meals for the family. And then, like, my middle son's autistic, so that's hard again, and it just becomes too hard.
Yep, and if it's too hard, you're not going to do it. So, and as we've said before, like, if you're trying to do something and it's not working for the family, that's just going to cause more inflammation and more stress, and we don't want that. We want to live this as easy a life as we can and be making these small adjustments. Like, I tried keto, low carb, and I just can't sustain it. It's just not sustainable for me. I'm a teacher. I'm on my feet all day, and I just found that my body wasn't doing the switching to burning fat. It was just wanting more because I just could not keep up with the amount. 'Cause I do 10,000 steps in my classroom a day, and just, it's just not for everybody. I think we just have to find something that's sustainable for us.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, but walking, I love walking. But it's like 40 degrees here today. Like, we're on the Gold Coast.
No.
And it was 40 degrees today. So even wearing compression is a stretch without going for a walk.
Yeah.
But walking, it just clears your mind. It gets your whole body working, your lymph system pumping. Yeah. And it's affordable.
Yes.
Because all you need is a pair of sneakers.
Yeah.
That's right. Accessible. That's the word.
Yeah.
Accessible. Yeah. So I am a big fan of walking too.
Yeah.
And I've been reading this book. It's called The Glucose Goddess, about how to manage our glucose spikes, which cause inflammation and all that sort of thing. And she says 20 minutes after a meal, just go for a 10-minute walk, and that gets all your blood glucose working properly again. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, that's good to know.
Might have to look into that.
Yeah.
So walking is packed full of goodies.
It would be so nice after like dinner time to be able to go for a walk. I remember when I was younger and my family always used to sit down for dinners. when I was like a young person with my parents, and then there was a brief time in my youth where after dinner we would just go for a walk around the neighborhood, and it was so nice to get out and the sun was sort of setting and like it was, dark and cool, and we'd just chat and walk around the neighborhood. And that'd be so nice when my kids get a little bit older to just do that straight after dinner before we all get ready for bed. Like, you're right, Shell, today was way too hot. I went for a walk today and it was probably not the best idea. It was very hot and I was in my compression. But I just needed to get out and to like clear my mind. As you said, it really does.
Yeah.
It does do that.
Yeah.
And your aqua aerobics, like I could imagine that makes a massive difference as well, because the water is just such a great tool. How'd you get into that?
It is. It was actually my nana. So she's right into her fitness as well. And she said to me, she goes, I'm going to start aqua aerobics. Do you want to come with me? And I was like, I've heard water is good for lipedema. And I was like, right, yep, I'll do it. So I eventually built up the courage to show my legs in public. And, got in that water and I was hooked. So that was last summer. But our pool here, because we're just a small country town, so our pool is an outdoor pool, which is only open so many months of the year, unfortunately. But, I've just found out that at the end of the month there might not be no more aqua, so that's pretty sad. But I've convinced my partner to put a pool in at home. So hopefully in the next couple of years I'll have a pool at home I could do my own aqua in.
You could host some classes for you and your nana.
Yeah. I know she's right into it. She shows my auntie when she went over to Queensland. She's showing all these people. She loves it.
That's so great.
And does she have lipedema as well?
No, she doesn't. So she's really lucky. And I've noticed also that side, like my cousins don't either. So she was a lucky one that kind of got away with it, like some of those girls on that side. Whereas my mum's got it in her arms and in kind of like around her knees and top part of her lower leg. But her mum, so my great nan, she had it.
Oh, okay, so from your mum's side. Because mine's on my dad's side.
Yeah, well, apparently my mum showed me some photos from my dad's side and they had that side as well. So it's a bit like, I'm on both sides.
Both sides,
wow.
Yeah.
Double whammy.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much, ancestors.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I said. I was like, what else is there that I should know about?
So you touched on it before about, getting the courage to show your legs to go to aqua aerobics. Can you just chat to us a little bit more about how the body image perspective came into it, especially in your youth? When you said you were always like a larger frame than the rest of your peers, like talk to us about what was happening in your mind back then.
Yeah, so going through high school, even when it was like 40 degrees outside, I was always the girl wearing the long sleeved, they call them cold and rugby jumpers. So they were like thicker kind of jersey material. And I always had long pants on. Whether it was cold or hot, I was fully covered. And, all the other girls were wearing their little shorts or their little skirts, and, not me. I was fully covered. And even I remember the school ball, like that was probably the first time I ever showed my arms, and that was a huge, huge thing for me. And, I look back now and I go, I wish my arms still looked like that. But at the time, I wish they didn't look like that. But I was in a horrible relationship before this partner, and he put me down a lot, especially body-wise. So I have a lot of that to deal with as well, which even after I got out of that toxic relationship, I was still getting abusive text messages about my body, which is really hard to then jump from someone like that to someone like my partner now, who he just thinks my body is like a goddess. Like, he loves every single thing about me, and he's like, don't you ever change, don't you, but it's still hard to, show bits of my body, and even in active wear. Like, you know, I live in compression active wear, and that's even like picking the kids up from school. I'm like, well, everyone's got to see the shape of my legs, because obviously, you know, like your tights show the shape of your legs, and overcoming that was a huge thing. Even sometimes now I'm a bit like, oh, everyone will see the lumps and bumps. But then I also think everyone's got lumps and bumps. We might have a little bit more, but everyone still has lumps and bumps, you know? And then same as when I got to the pool and I was petrified of taking my bottoms off and showing everyone my legs. I even put a fake tan on to make myself feel better. And, you know, once I got there and I saw everyone else, and everyone else is different, you know, no one's the same size, no one's... And I was just like, okay, you know, no one's looking at me. And they weren't. Everyone was getting in the water and doing their own thing. And, and I was like, okay. So that was my full comfortable point there. And even now I'm like, I go, even if I haven't shaved my legs, who cares? We'll just go. You know, because no one's looking at me. They're all worried about themselves. So that was a huge, huge learning point, which I kind of wish younger me knew, because I probably, you know, would have been a bit more comfortable through high school. Even now in life, you know, I always used to wear like a bolero to hide my arms. And I mean, luckily fashion these days have kind of come quite a way where, you know, you can get nice linen tops and everything that do come up to your elbows. Not everything's just long sleeve, which is good. But yeah, one day I'll get the courage to show my arms. But at the moment, legs is... Yeah.
And do you find with now there's like this community is growing and there's more people getting out there and showing their legs and showing their arms and not hiding, is that giving you more confidence and sort of spurring you on to say, oh, man, I can do that too?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. Especially like you said, with the legs and everything, it's like, okay, you know, who cares if everyone sees my lumps and bumps in my active wear? I can wear those if I want to. You know, and if people have got an issue about it, they should be looking, you know, what their issues are, not what our issues are, you know, kind of thing, like looking deeper in themselves, instead of projecting the hatred on us when, you know, we're doing nothing wrong. You know, we're allowed to wear what we want to wear and they can wear what they want to wear.
Yep, that's right. Yep. We're allowed to exist here too.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I love that. So, I want to ask you, have you considered surgery?
So I did actually get a quote just by photos. I can't think of what the doctor's name was now. But he said I'd probably need 3 to 4 surgeries on each leg. So that was up to $100,000. And I was like, yep, we're just going to love our legs. We'll just love them.
Yeah, a quote like that sure does push you into acceptance, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's really sobering news.
I've heard other women say, no, I'm going to put in a pool instead. So, you know.
Yeah, pretty much that's what I said. I'd rather put a pool in. Go on a big holiday or something, you know.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, isn't it? It is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're nearly done, Tiana. Did you have another question?
Myself, I do. Oh, I couldn't unmute myself. Sorry. It wasn't working. I was pressing the button like, I've got something to say.
Nice and quiet down there.
Yeah, sorry about that. Do you have access to services where you are? Because you did say that you're kind of like a little bit rural. Is that right? What kind of services do you have available to you?
We honestly don't have much here. So I'm lucky enough my mum is actually a lymphatic masseuse. So I'm very lucky there. But the next closest person is about 45 minutes away. So with kids, it's a bit hard to, you know, it's not a place to take your kids. I did have a couple sessions done last year. But, it's hard with the kids, trying to juggle the kids. It's just, but I'm hoping now that 2 of them will be in full-time school this year, and then I'll only have the little one. It'll be easier for someone to look after her for a couple of hours, or even come with me and just take her to the park or something while I have it done. So that's my goal, is more this year, because unfortunately my mum's hands aren't that great anymore, lots of arthritis, and so she struggles a little bit and hurts quite a bit afterwards. So try and get down there.
Yeah, it makes it difficult when you're not like in metropolitan areas with, your pick of, clinicians and therapists and everything to go to. When you sort of are out a little bit further, you have to be really discerning about your time and what you do. And when you've got 3 children, it's not, accessible to you most of the time. No.
Yeah.
Which is why probably investing in a pump and wearing your compression and doing all the things you can, getting a pool and doing your own acro-aerobics at home, like that stuff is going to make a big difference for you, because it'll add to consistency of care.
Yeah, for sure.
So what does the future look like with your lipedema, and what and with your, sorry, I'll ask you that question first. What does your future look like with lipedema?
Hopefully positive. Hopefully positive. Hopefully it doesn't get much worse pain-wise. Hopefully I can get on top of it now whilst I am still young. So that way, when I do get older, I can manage it a bit easier. And hopefully just when we get the pool in, when we get the pool in.
Manifest it.
That'll be great. So, yes, I'm manifesting it, all right. But I'm hopefully, And then obviously, like, if my daughter does develop it down the track, I want to be there for her and, have it there and know what to do for her and help her and, all that.
Yeah, I was thinking about that very thing, Maddie, that you have children and the body image issues that you experienced in your youth, and how you're going to sort of try and change the narrative for your kids. How does that look in your mind? How does that look for your children?
A lot of body positivity. Even now, I might have my insecurities, but I never let it show to my kids. We always just tell them, how beautiful they are, how just, full on body positivity. If they want to wear that, they can wear it. If they don't want to wear it, they don't have to wear it. We're so easygoing with them, which I think you have to be, especially in this day and age as well. And kids can be cruel, let's be honest. But as long as they know that their body's worthy, they're worthy, that's most important to me with my kids.
Yep, self-worth. Like, if you know your own value and your own worth, that can get you through anything, can't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Have the resilience to bounce back when those little hurdles get in your way. That's really strong. Yeah. Love that. I think Tiana's stuck on mute again.
That button's not working. I was going to say, like, as much as we shield our kids from those times where we're not feeling super body accepting, like there's always a forum in your adult groups, or with the lipedema community that you can really reach out to and express those concerns.
Yes.
So, because we've got to be true to ourselves, right? We can't always just feel body positive all the time, because that's just not our reality. But when you have children at home, we sort of need to, like, fake it till we make it kind of thing in front of them.
Yeah, for sure.
But we're all here to sort of keep it real and accept that some days we're not feeling that hot.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I guess we're lucky that way with social media and, those close-knit forums. We can have a little vent, and people are understanding, which is really good, because we need that. We need that place to be able to vent.
We're all walking the same path, aren't we?
Yeah.
So, being able to support each other.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
We have a really great community, actually. We're pretty lucky in terms of the people that we have, like not only supporting lipedema, but the people who are also living with lipedema. Like everybody
Yes.
seems to be so supportive, which is so nice.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've really noticed it, especially like the Facebook community and Instagram and yeah, just so many lovely people.
Yeah, and I think we've all come to realize that just because we all have lipedema doesn't mean we're all going to find the same things work for us. And I think that's a beautiful thing, because you'll ask a question and you'll get lots of different opinions and options, but no one then comes in and says, no, that's not the way to do it. So I love that, you know, everyone's like, oh, this worked for me. Oh, but this worked for me. And there's none of that, oh, but my way's better. And that's, that's beautiful, because that can get really confusing for us if we're like, oh, I'm supposed to do this. Well, no, you've got to do what works for you.
Yeah, that's it. No one fits in one box.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We've got the common thread, but we're all living completely different lives.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So you've got one daughter, is that right, Maddie?
Yeah, one daughter. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's your youngest, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah,
So it's going to be quite some time before you would see anything develop in her.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I must say, you having this knowledge about your own body and about your, you know, the generations before you having like lipedema sort of puts your daughter in a privileged situation that you can get on the front foot with taking care of her needs if she was ever to develop it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And I think the way we look at it too, when we're educating because I've got 3 daughters, when we're educating them on these things, there's just a certain way we need to care for ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, we're just built in a certain way, and there's a way that we can care for ourselves. Like just framing it in the most beautiful, positive way.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
We get to self-care. We get to do these extra things for us. Not we have to, we get to.
Yes.
Look at all these things available for us. We get to use them. Yeah.
We got an excuse too. I've got lipedema. I need to go and get a massage every month. Thank you. It's been prescribed. Yeah. Honey, you take care of the kids. It's prescribed. My doctor said. Yeah, I need a pool. That's right. I need a pool.
Tiana and I both have pools on our wish list too.
Yeah, we're saving for a pool as well. Yeah, I'm going to do my aqua aerobics. Don't you worry about that every morning.
We'll manifest it all.
Absolutely, every night.
It will come to us. It will come to us.
Yes, it will.
All right, Maddie, we're going to hit you with our last question.
Yep.
If you could go back and give your younger self, a pep talk, what would you tell her?
Oh, geez, where would I start? I'd probably start off saying she's worthy, for one, and she doesn't need to hide. Like, she does not need to hide at all, you know, and she's loved. She's loved, very much so loved. That's probably the main 3 things I would tell her.
It's probably the main 3 things that people need to hear throughout their entire life, especially when they're younger, right? That you're worthy and that you're loved.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Especially in this ever-changing world, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Well, Maddie, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
It
has been a pleasure having you on.
Thank you so much for having me.
We absolutely love talking to our warriors.
Yes.
All right, bye.
See ya.
Take care.
When we started the Lipoedema podcast, we relied on word of mouth and existing connections.
Our following has happened organically, and we are so honoured by your support.
As we learn more about the world of social media and algorithms, we have a request.
When you are listening to our podcast or watching on YouTube, let us know what you think.
Hit follow or subscribe.
Leave us a comment or write a review.
The more engagement we get, the more our message is shared.
and the greater our reach to those women suffering in silence.
Thank you for listening to the Lipoedema podcast. Lipoedema and its symptoms vary from individual to individual. The opinions and advice voiced in this podcast are of a personal nature and used for educational purposes.
Please take away from this podcast what resonates with you, and please see your GP or preferred specialist for diagnosis and healthcare. We are Shelley and Tiana from the Lipoedema podcast. Until our next episode, bye for now.